Izzy Adesanya came out. He said that he is under Paulo Costa's skin, that he certainly is under Paulo's skin. Now, whether he is or he isn't, right? And sometimes that's a be careful of what you ask for type situation. Sometimes you think doing something is positive because it's one of these terms, one of these catchphrases that's just out there, but nobody's ever broke down what it means for you. Perhaps he is under Paulo's skin, but the fact that Izzy said it also makes it clear that he believes that's an advantage for him. It might be. Perhaps he's not under Paulo's skin at all, and there's nothing to see here. But let's talk about what that does mean, because we see this many times in fighting, and it goes all the way back to Muhammad Ali, who to this day is credited for not only being funny and entertaining, he is said to be credited for the mental warfare that he could sow some doubt in his opponent. That part of it is true. If you can create some level of doubt within your opponent, it will do one of two things. One, it will change the way they fight because they fear that threat is coming. Whatever the big threat, right? The art of war. The greatest general never has to fire a shot. He can just align his troops, make the enemy look around and go, whoa, that's too much to deal with. Something is coming. Generals from the beginning of time have feinted some magical weapon that we have seen over time just simply doesn't exist, but they'll never quit feinting it. They'll even sometimes supply a photograph of it with a depiction of all the destruction that it could do, even though it's never been brought to the battlefield. It's just the art of war. I'm only suggesting for you, we see this in many walks of life. The question is, within this sport specifically, within this matchup specifically of Izzy Adesanya versus Paulo Costa, is Izzy under Paulo's skin? And if so, what's that mean? I have not seen this very many times that you could clearly identify. And whenever I speak of this, it's kind of like the size of the cage debate that we've been having for the last couple of months. I acknowledge there is a phenomenon there because I hear it is from too many people who I respect for me to just deny it. I cannot personalize it because I don't give a damn or know a damn thing about it. Fought in every size cage that there was, every kind of rings and apparatus, covered mats, surfaces, raised mats, elevate, no mat at all. Never knew the difference. Never knew till I stepped out there what the apparatus was going to be, and when it was done, could not find one advantage and or disadvantage that it gave me. That was just for me. And in all fairness, it sounds like a little bit of naiveness on my part. It seems as though learning the things that I'm hearing now, perhaps there are different strategies that you can use in that. I tell you that part of it because I don't want you to think because I'm the author of this statement that therefore that's the way it should be and where you fight just shouldn't make a darn bit of difference. Apparently it does. Apparently there's something around this, and I will share with you, getting under a guy's skin or at least planting that seed of doubt. I have in my life seen one time. I've seen it one time. I've heard about it many times. I've heard the reason that Conor McGregor stopped Jose Aldo so quickly was because he was under his skin. My eyes didn't tell me that. My eyes told me that he dropped Jose Aldo because he got to Jose's chin before Jose got to his. That's what my eyes told me, but my ears from other people tell me because Conor was under his skin. I can only tell you I've seen it for sure one time. Listen, Matt Lindland. I'll bring you guys Matt Lindland stories. And you love Matt Lindland stories, but this one, 1993, Matt is going into his senior year of college. And his coach, Tim Newman, great coach, brings each athlete into the room for individualized meetings. And in those meetings, one-on-one, athlete coach, the athlete prior to the meeting was given instructions to write down their goals for the year. When they get to the meeting, the athlete hands the goals to the coaches, and the coach looks over them and starts to know the direction that this athlete visually wants to take himself. One of the things on Matt's list, okay, it said undefeated national champion. Want to be undefeated? Win nationals. Coach Newman stopped him right there and said, well, Matt, you're not going to be undefeated, but you can win nationals. And the coach's goal was very clear, which was to let his athlete know who had set this monster effort in front of him. He did not want his athlete thrown off the course, which was ultimately only one thing, which was to win nationals. Regardless what happens in these tournaments or the Big Eights or the dual meet over here or a side tournament in the preseason, regardless of all of that, don't forget what your ultimate goal is, which is just to win nationals. So you're going to lose a match, but do not let that match get you off course. That was Coach's message. It's not what Coach said. Coach told Matt, and Matt trusted Coach. You are not going to go undefeated. That was the part that his athlete heard. Well, Matt showed up to those side tournaments, and Matt showed up to the Big Eights, and Matt caught the tournament over here, and Matt went to the All-Star Duel. Matt never lost. So now Matt is at the NCAA tournament, and he said every single match he had all season long, when he put the headgear on and stepped on the mat, he asked himself, is this the one? Is this the one Coach Newman told me wasn't going to go my way? Because I trust Coach. Coach has never steered me wrong, and Coach told me for sure I'm going to lose. I wonder if this is the one. He would shake hands and compete, and it wasn't the one, and he'd be, darn it. I was really hoping to get the one out of the way. Maybe the one's the next one. Gets to the NCAA tournament, 36-0, Big 8 champion, number 1 seed. Steps onto the mat, very first match, asks himself that same question. I wonder if this is the one. And it was. To a freshman from Boston College. I am as big of a wrestling fan as you will ever meet. Until Earl Hall of Boston College beat Matt Lindland in the opening pigtail round of the NCAA tournament in 1993, I did not know that Boston College had a wrestling program. There is something to be said for the size of the cage. I don't know what in the hell it is, but I acknowledge it's there. There is something to be said for getting under a guy's skin. I don't totally know what it is, but I acknowledge it's there.